now call the September 22nd, 2016 meeting of the Madison County Board of Adjustment to order. Will you call the roll, please?
Jimmy Rogers.
Here.
Howard Bowden.
Here.
George Dillon.
Here.
Ralph Hall.
Here.
Wayne Pinkowski.
All right, gentlemen, the first order of business we have will be to look at the minutes from the previous meeting last month on August 18th. I trust you all had a chance to look at them, read them over. I didn't notice any discrepancies in them or anything unusual. You may have any questions, comments. If not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move we accept the minutes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Ralph Oliver.
Here.
Howard Bowden.
Yep.
Jimmy
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
George Dillon.
Yes. All right, we have 3 items on the agenda tonight, and let me go over the agenda just to make sure someone's present. We had, I'm gonna call 3031 Poozy Ridge. That was taken off the agenda. We're gonna hear that case next month. So I have a 4041 Paint Lick Road with James King
Yes.
present. All right. I have a conditional use permit for 473 Alexander Road. Brian and Candy Jackson, are y'all
Yes.
present? All right, and then, looks like 2284 and 2288 Barnes Mill Road. Is someone present to speak for them? All right. The first case we're gonna hear tonight is 4041 Paint Leak Road, James King. If you would, Mr. King, state your name and address for me.
James King at 4041 Paint Lick Road.
All right, Mr. King, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as it pertains to this case?
Yes.
All right, continue.
Okay, what I was wanting to do is put a building on I got a mobile home lot.
Uh-huh.
We used to live on that lot when we moved in the house, and I had the electric turned off on the lot. And I just wanted to put a building over there and get electric hooked into it.
What? So you got a floodplain behind the house? Is it?
Yes.
You got it.
It's all in the floodplain. If you face the house, he wants to put it in the left corner. There's already been, like I said, there was an electric pole with the service on it. As we speak, it's just been disconnected. He's gonna put a shed type building there. We'll deal with the floodplain through the building office. You also granted this. Yeah, it goes back there, then it drops off, and then it flattens out and goes to the creek.
Right about here's where the pole's existing, it's got the service on it, it's probably 10 feet in there, the service, isn't it?
Right,
It's
so-
way up there.
So just to clarify, you're asking, you wrote on here you want a variance of 50 foot, so we're going from 125 feet to 75 feet
What
for a
was,
50-foot variance?
I asked for 50 foot, but the two women I got to measure don't know how to measure. This guy over here measured it, and I need 70 foot.
So
All right.
how far will the building be from the center of the road?
He's got to measure
56 feet.
56 feet.
Okay.
So how far is your front porch of your house to the center of the road?
Oh, where I live at now?
Yes, sir.
It probably ain't that much either.
How's that work out?
Everything down through there is close to the road.
So does that line up about right?
Let's just do 70.
Yeah.
So it'll make it 55. So we're gonna go from 125 feet to 50 foot for a variance of 70 feet, 70-foot variance, right?
Correct.
All right. And that's still gonna be behind the existing house?
It doesn't come out close to the road anymore.
And no closer than existing
I don't know
house?
if it's completely behind the house, but
Really,
it's not any closer.
really, it's further back than my house,
It's not any closer to the road than the
to be
house.
honest with you.
And it's just for a garage?
Yes.
It's just a little portable storage shed.
I got a little storage
building.
shed right now, but I'd like to have something bigger later, you know, but.
Okay. Okay.
I have a question about the trailer that's in front of the shed.
That's mine, my brother gave it to me.
Is that just parked there? or-
Yes, it's been there a while. It's like a little 2-bedroom camper or something.
So that's a shed that we're going, is there right now?
Yeah, the shed is sitting over
We're going right
back
now.
a bit, yeah.
All right, I don't have any further questions about it. Does anybody in the audience have any questions, comments for or against Mr. King's request for a variance?
We have not had any calls.
No calls? No letters on there. Any of the board members have any questions, comments, further questions, comments? Not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move we approve the request for dimensional variance for the property at 4041 Paint Lick Road, and that it be a 70-foot variance.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Jimmy Rogers,
Yes.
Art Ballard,
Yes.
Ralph Oliver,
Yes.
George Dillon.
Yes.
Okay, you come out and I'll explain that.
All right, the next case we have is 473 Alexander Road for conditional use Smoking Jack Grill. I'm gonna swear you in both at the same time. Go on and state both your name and address for the record for me, please.
I'm Candy Jackson.
Brian Jackson?
Address is 473 Alexander Road, Berea.
All right, Brian and Candy, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Continue. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
Well, we would like to run our small barbecue catering business on our 20-acre land that we bought.
Okay,
We're currently doing this for sales, for 8 years, and, we have some friends, that our kids are going to school with at Kentucky, sorry. And, we've relocated to Madison Southern with our kids, and, we're excited to be here and the opportunity.
okay, so what exactly do? You just cook
We
meats
we cook,
and then deliver them to locations?
correct.
Yes. We have no incoming traffic. We handle all the pickup and delivery of our product. We do not have customers. There will not be a street sign. We're very private and would like to keep it that way.
And we're, I haven't measured it, but we're approximately 700 yards off the road.
So you just have a smoker on a trailer or wherever, and
not
it's
a
pretty
trailer.
non-invasive, and no one will ever know it's there.
Exactly.
They might smell it.
They might
They'll
smell
smell
it,
it.
but if they do and they're hungry, they could come over and we'll give them some.
So we cater businesses, we've catered Madison Southern's fundraiser for football. We did their teachers. Brandon Watkins, the principal, hired us to feed the teachers at the end of the school year.
We try to give back to the community that we're living in, and so we donate a lot. If there's leftover product, we usually bring it to a church
Sure.
that feeds the children. We are Kentucky proud, and we do try to buy a lot of our vegetables from local farmers markets.
And also our health inspector for sales, we've had 100%.
I need you to get a little closer to that
Oh,
microphone
excuse
for
me.
me, or I can't pick it up.
100% on our inspections.
Yeah, health inspections.
Health inspections, no lower than 100% for the 8 years as well.
And you're just gonna be doing this 1 to 2 times a week?
Yes, on average, it might be one time. A busy week for us would be probably 2.5 times a week.
Okay.
Are you currently living at this address?
No, but we're going to build, soon. We're working our way this way. We are renting an apartment right now.
In Berea city limits?
Yes,
And then you're working out here?
Yes.
yes.
Gotcha. Up here they've got the map. Currently where that 461 is that where you would say you're working out of?
I can't really read it. More this 470
We're,
473?
above
we're
the
behind,
473.
we're behind that,
Behind the 473?
Tucked more in the
This
woods,
opening right
right
here.
Yeah.
there, right there,
right there.
where those group of small trees are.
I ran and drove out there the other day. There's a driveway that comes in, where is it, right there? You can't even see the driveway, but it winds back through these trees to get back to this property. You can't begin to see it from the road or from,
You gotta work
Right.
yourself around too.
but y'all, I don't know if y'all know.
I have a question. What's that brand new building back there with the green roof?
That's where we hope to operate from.
That's a huge building.
Yes.
So we leave the
And it's-
quarters in the shop, right?
And it's
Well,
just a cook,
it-
you're just gonna use that to,
It's actually, the lean-to is what we'll be using to put the grill underneath. It's not cooked inside. But Daddy won where I got to build it bigger than smaller than regret.
They're gonna use the shed part of the roof for the cooker and the wood, and then the inside part of the barn for miscellaneous use.
Storage. We have a
Personal
motor
storage.
home and
We do have a motor home.
the reason I ask, it looked like a restaurant when I drove down there.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
And,
it's-
you're talking about just smoking the meat,
Right.
We're
delivering
not
it.
doing any.
But it
no,
looked like a
we will not
restaurant.
have one customer to our site ever.
And we pick up our feed, I pick up the food, from Critchfield Meats and Lexington or US Foods,
And I buy a lot at Sam's Club.
Sam's Clubs, and then the farmers markets. So we go get the product and bring it.
We will not have any vendors out to the site as well.
I don't know whether I have any, no, I mean, no signage, no employees, I mean, your statement here kinda says it all.
I mean, I may have like my son's friend that, he's at EKU, that if we need extra help.
Have we had, have we heard any calls, letters,
Well,
complaints?
just inquiring what the sign
Inquiring
was
what they're
about.
doing. Okay. So, we've approved similar uses to this before down in that area, I know for sure, so. but, Anybody in the audience left that wants to speak for or against the request here? Any of the board members have any further questions, comments? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I'd like to propose that we grant a conditional use permit for property located at 473 Alexander Road. The conditional use of the property is to operate a catering company.
All right, do we have a second?
We're gonna probably need some,
Yeah.
some specifics on that, at least some hours of operation or some days of operation, signage, that kind of thing. The county attorney will probably not, take something that generic.
We can, that's no problem. The conditional use of the property is to operate a catering company with no signage. Hours of operation,
What do you
And
need?
you can ask them what their need is, and then if you're okay with that.
That's a tricky, sometimes we're kinda like that on call whenever. So a larger cook sometimes is early in the morning, sometimes, 2, 3 in the morning.
But our grilling time also, it ranges from 1.25 hours to maybe 3 or 4
3 or
if
4
we're
hours.
busy, if it's a lot we're cooking. So the days we are cooking, it's 4 hours tops.
And if you wanna say no restrictions, then just say that.
no
Instead of
restrictions
just
on,
leaving it
no restrictions on
open-ended.
the hourly of operation. So,
Thank you.
Okay, do we need to clarify the motion, or?
I mean,
I think that.
We got it. All right, do I hear a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Ralph Oliver,
yes.
George Dillard,
Yes.
Howard Bowden,
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yes.
All right, you're approved. Good luck
Thank
to
you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
I'll talk to you about it later.
Thank you.
A little bit of, I didn't need to read the other one. All right, the next item on the agenda is 2284 Barnesville Road, Chenault Vineyard. You wanna come forward, please? Just state the name and the address you're representing.
My name is Mike Eves. I'm here representing the applicant, Chenault Vineyard. And
All right, Mr. Eves.
I prepared and filed the application.
All right, Mr. Eves, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
I do.
All right, go right ahead.
The property that was formerly owned by Lowell Land and operated as Acres of Land Vineyard was purchased by the Chenaults in an LLC called Big Valley Land Company. Big Valley has sold, I apologize, Big Valley has leased 55 acres of that farm, which includes all of the former vineyard buildings and the actual vineyards themselves, the grapes. And the intent is to reinvigorate, I guess, the site, try to do some things that complement the winery. Federal license application has been filed. The federal permit has been received. This will qualify under state law as a small farm winery. The intent is, and I've listed a number of uses that not all will come to fruition. There are a bunch of those. We just sat down and talked about things that Becky Chenault is here with me they've talked about doing, that they have a place to do, and all of it is with the intent of making the winery viable and successful. As you know, Lowell operated one there for many years, and it really, there was the vineyard and a restaurant, and it simply was not viable. It's got to be viable, we think it's got to become more of a destination. There's got to be more reasons to be there. We've given you a list of things that have been talked about. Certainly not going to represent to you that some of those uses will ever occur, but those are the things we think that are possible. We've already had a wedding type event, a family wedding event there, I think last week. And that's the type of events that are planned. I think they would, at least initially, will cater and have wedding receptions, weddings, and those types of events. I've tried to give you in the application more information probably than I thought you would need, but to give you a flavor of sort of what's anticipated.
You had said that Chenault Land and Cattle leased to Big Valley.
No, the other way around.
Big Valley leased to Chenault Land and Cattle.
Well, no.
The deed says that Chenault Land and Cattle purchased it and then deeded it to Big Valley. I don't see
Who has leased it to the vineyard. I think I've included a copy of the lease with the application. The rest of the farm, there were several hundred acres in the farm. All of that was owned by Chenault Land and Cattle, except for this 55 acres. 55 acres was a separate tract described within that much larger deed that, based on the information we obtained from the surveyor, encompassed all of the former vineyard facilities. So we've just taken one of those existing 55-acre tracts out of that deed. It's been conveyed to Chenault, to Big Valley Land Company, who has leased it to the vineyard. So Chenault Land and Cattle still owns the rest of the farm, which again is Ed and Becky Chenault.
And basically, the leaser is also the same person as the people that's deeded by Big Valley, correct? Chenault Vineyard.
You
is
lost
the
me
same-
there.
The Chenault Vineyard is the same people as,
It's the same family.
yes, okay.
Yes. Chenault Vineyard,
Is your question
Big-
because
Big
you're wondering
Valley.
if the permit's gonna?
Yeah, I'm
lie
trying
with-
to, I'm trying to see who the permit's gonna lie with. Is it gonna be Chenault
Well,
Land and
whoever
Cattle,
the applicant is. who
Big
permit.
Valley Land,
Chenault
or
Vineyard
Chenault Vineyard?
is the applicant.
There's three people we're dealing with here?
there are two that you're dealing with. The land is owned by Big Valley.
Yes,
It's leased to Chenault Vineyard.
yes,
If the,
Chenault Vineyard will be the permit holder, because they're the applicant.
exactly. So Big Valley will not be requesting the,
it depends on, you know, I've been told, it's somebody's view that conditional permits don't follow the land.
that's
I-
correct.
That's always my position.
Yes.
I frankly don't think that's correct. It's not my position, but I don't care. It works for me either way. I'm here speaking for the Chenaults. If the permit needs to be issued to Big Valley, I'm fine with that too.
No, I
But, but the vineyard is the user, and that's who I made the app, because it had been expressed to me that your position is that they don't follow the land.
And at the end of the day, they're the same people, right?
Yes.
They're the same, I'm representing them all, so
Right,
it
right.
doesn't make any difference. I'm for it no matter who you're for.
So the original winery that was there, did it have a conditional use permit or?
Not that we're aware of,
So it was just operating?
as far as we're aware.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure we'd know that except what's a public record, and we're not able to find anything, and I
I'm
don't
not
think.
sure it affects what they're trying to do,
It doesn't.
anyway.
Did they have a
Yeah, this is a-
template like what you have? I mean, did you
No.
come up with this, or did you go off their template?
No, this is,
We came up with
you know, again, going back, Lowell did a lot of great things to try to make a go of a standalone vineyard. It didn't go. I can't really criticize what he did, other than the fact that that single purpose entity didn't make it. And he had a lot, you know, he didn't have to pay for the land, he had a lot of advantages. Again, I think the Chenaults have looked at it to try to say, in order to make this go as a small farm winery, you know, what else can we do to create the traffic, to create the interest, you know, to make it more of a destination? And that's, again, it involves these wedding receptions, birthday parties, you know, this type of thing that gives people a reason to go. This is, in essence, and I didn't know this till this last year, and one of the farm owners explained to me, this is what the horse people are doing in Lexington to try to promote the horse business. I mean, they're not having tour buses, but a lot of the horse farms over there are creating events at their farm to create, you know, to make that a destination, to educate people about the horse business, why they care about breeding, why they care about racing, and it's of course that's what all the distilleries have done, is created those destinations, and we're certainly not suggesting that this will ever be on a par with any of that, but it will create a certain clientele, we think, that will help the winery succeed. Now, there may be some of these uses that you look at and you just say, I just can't. My personal favorite is kite flying. I'm not sure how that one works, but you know, that this may not all suit you, and as I've tried to be candid, I can't represent to you that, of course, there'd be a lot of money in developing all these uses on that site anytime in the next 15, 20 years. So some of this may never happen, and some of it you may never want it to happen. But these are the things that have been discussed. There are some things that were discussed are not on this list, but
You just couldn't put four-wheelers on there for me, could you?
couldn't, noise. I want to put skeet shooting on it, but I thought noise. That's just that would disturb the
Well, it is on
neighborhood.
there.
So.
Yeah.
What, skeet shooting?
Yes.
Maybe I put it on there and didn't take it
Put a
off.
big baby
Take
on
it
there.
off.
Maybe.
You put
That-
maybe next to it.
Yeah, well, that was one of my suggestions.
This is agriculture, isn't it? Is it zoned agriculture out there?
It is.
So,
From a standpoint of advertising, we haven't got any feedback, positive or negative, other than some casual conversations that I think Marty and I have had with some people in that area that I think people are glad that somebody's bought the winery, and it's not going to, sit there vacant and become something that they have to drive by every day that maybe they wouldn't wanna look at. Mainly just questions about what's gonna happen, nothing for or against, just talking about.
Curiosity.
I think it's a great idea. I mean, I like this. It's basically being used for what it was used for before and stuff like that. Your long list of items that you possibly wanna use it for concern me more than anything. And a lot of them are very open-ended and subjective. You know, it is a farm and it is in a rural area and so forth. And I guess, you know, you've got festivals on the ground. Well, those could be big, depending on the size. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, the skeet shooting, that wouldn't be for, the neighbors probably wouldn't be happy with that, but, you know, you've got cabins and RVs. Well, then the neighbors will be complaining about an RV park and
Well,
all that
would
kind of
be
stuff. So
something
I don't
that
know.
Would
So-
require some additional.
All those
Right.
things require additional approvals and
Right.
permits.
So-
Would the.
I'm
ma-
sure if you walk outside in Boozy Ridge, there's a good chance you'll hear a gun going
True. I agree,
on. I
but
mean, you're out in the middle of.
hey, we're talking about a winery here, so
Right.
at some point in time, we gotta limit the scope to a winery, I feel like. If that's the main purpose of this, and that's the reason you're here, is to have that, right? So we need to limit it to events that
Well,
are kind of around those.
again, don't overlook the statement that I made. It operated as a winery unsuccessfully for a long time. I don't know of any reason we could do better than what Lowell couldn't do. We've got to find a different, you just can't be just a hot dog restaurant. You just can't, and particularly if it'd been a hot dog restaurant 2 or 3 times before and it didn't make it, then you got to find something else to sell.
Right.
So we've got to create a bigger I keep using the word destination, and that's maybe not very descriptive, but there's got to be something else that generates the interest, the retail sales or wholesale sales.
And I agree, and
of
those,
that.
those events should be tailored around the winery.
I agree.
Would,
And that- and that-
if you've got wedding and receptions, birthdays, holidays, political events, and other public gatherings, wouldn't that pretty much cover anything you would wanna do outside the scope? It would include some of this stuff below it, but without specifically naming it. You know, what you do out there, we're not policing, you know, I mean, that's, I guess if you had some big shindig, throw down or something.
Here's what comes to mind, is right off the top of the head, and I'll bring it up. It is in Lexington. They do have a winery in Lexington that did have a concert, and it was somewhat of a debacle with traffic and stuff like that.
We
I mean,
talked
so I don't wanna,
about-
I don't
we
wanna,
talked
I don't
about
wanna
that.
get to that scope where we're thinking that's okay, on that road out there and so forth. So I wanna, you know, like I said.
Would you be comfortable with putting a cap? I mean, you know what your occupant loads are, you and I talked about that. Would you be comfortable putting a number on that? So if a concert was to come up and you're not gonna have
Well, the
20,000
capacity for the
people.
building is not capacity for the ground.
Don't know if you wanna restrict it that much, but that might alleviate some of their concerns about an event like that coming in, if you set a maximum number of people.
How many did you have at the wedding 2 weeks ago?
This past weekend, and there's like probably 250 there.
Did that-
I mean, even if you said a
what-
1,000 people,
what-
that's gonna prevent.
What,
it.
did you get any complaints about that, the event that create any kind of stir in the community?
No, we never.
Didn't know about it?
Never knew it was going on.
I guess what I was trying to say with those 5 items I just named off,
And I think 80% of it, you're right. I think that, or maybe 90%.
Yeah, those 5 items under 2A are pretty much, I'm fine, in line with, I feel like, what should go on out there.
One that scares me is number 3.
Well, and that would be my.
That would be my
concern
next
about that one,
concern.
too.
Bria's got
But
number.
you can have a festival with 300 people, or you can have a festival with 3,000 people.
And that's where
a
that.
huge difference. I mean,
Yeah.
Very subjective as to what that is in the
Yeah,
limit.
to just
Well, and
leave
you're
it
in-
Pretty open-ended.
And you're entitled to, under your ordinance, you're entitled to assert restrictions on even the things that were approved, and we're certainly don't object to that. We're not wanting an open ticket. And to the extent there's, as Bert suggested, to the extent there's some limitation that addresses your concerns, we're okay, we're good with that.
And I think under 2A5 is pretty open-ended. Other public gatherings, that could be anything.
Well, I guess,
That's
well,
pretty-
I
that's
guess
pretty
it could be,
open-ended.
but I don't,
Yeah.
don't know.
I think
But
the
I'm not-
problem we're gonna have is putting a number, a cumulative number on what you're okay with and what you need and what you are comfortable with. And that's the problem. They don't want it open-ended, you can have 10,000 people there. But you want the freedom to be able to have the functions that you need to have to be successful.
And I think that's fair, and I would hope that we would not exceed the county's trust, but I understand your need to limit it.
Understanding too that you all are part of that community out there too, and you don't wanna ruffle any feathers.
That's right.
And upset your neighbors.
That's what's gonna bring, that's part of your winery. I think that's okay.
So, Bert, on,
They had one out there before. They had a full service
They had a full
restaurant
service
before, right?
restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
They have political events, they've had weddings, they've had birthdays.
So-
I've eaten out there.
Yeah.
And that may,
so that doesn't affect the zoning.
Mm-mm. That's part of the conditional use.
They're asking for a permit to be able to operate
Yeah.
that type of business in an agricultural zone,
Yeah.
that's why we're here,
So
so.
you're not having anything to do with the alcohol center, that's totally state, federal.
well, in county,
Well,
county,
well, it's
county's
been-
got their own
it's
separate
been both-
ordinances
it's
for
been- there's
that.
been
But not
both.
this point.
Yeah, the
This-
winery's
That's
the
right.
same thing, right?
Yes.
That's
But
right.
there had to-
Well,
it's
and
enforced-
it's licensed as a small farm winery, has to be on a farm, has to have certain services in order to qualify for the license. And then the county has its own separate ordinances that deal with hours of operation and some of those things.
You brought that up, when the state granted that small farm winery, did they put a limit on the amount of acres that farm had to contain? Because I believe you had said you deeded 55 of this off for the winery.
Okay.
Did the original one have just the 55 when it was granted the winery, or was it larger?
Well,
it's not-
the
I don't know what
deed-
the state law is on what classifies it as a small farm.
Probably have to have a minimum number of acreage to qualify it,
And a maximum that could be considered a small farm.
probably. And I don't know the answer to that. I can tell you Lowell's deed had about 5 or 6 different tracts described in it, and we picked this, all of the winery-related facilities were on one of those, and that's what we conveyed.
What kind of hours of operation are we looking at?
Why don't you speak to that? I know the county has an ordinance that deals specifically with hours of operation.
You can look at your minutes.
And so that's already limited, and I don't remember what that other ordinance is. This is Becky Shaw.
Hi, how are you?
Name and address, please.
Hours of operations, we're still trying to
Maybe
figure all
He
that
needs to
out.
get your name
Oh.
in for the record.
Becky Chenault,
All right, Ms. Chenault, do you agree to give truthful and accurate information as pertains to this case?
yes.
All right, continue, sorry.
Okay. Hours of operations, we're still trying to figure all that out. It's been changed several times, but the latest version of operating hours is that we would be seasonal. We would close December, January, and February during the winter months. Thursday through Sunday, we would be open for tastings. Monday through Wednesday, we would just be open to show the facilities. So that's what we're looking at right now.
What hours in the day? We talking like 8 to midnight? What are your hours?
No, one, right now, for the fall of 2016, 1 to 6, Thursday and Friday and Saturday, I believe. Or, I'm sorry, 1 to 7 and 1 to 6. So, can't start serving wine or doing tastings until 12:30, so,
1 to 6, Thursday through Saturday.
for now.
Well, but
It's
with the
gonna
understanding,
change.
if you're gonna have a wedding reception, they're gonna wanna stay past 6
Right.
o'clock, so they're gonna need to know.
This is the Welcome Center and the tastings. As far as the events go, everyone would need to be out of there by midnight. So-
Okay, so if we did something from 6 AM to midnight, you would be okay with that?
Yes, yes, yes.
What, on festivals and music events and that kind of stuff, if we limited those to 500 people, is that,
I think that
would
would
that
be
cover
putting a
more than
cap-
enough people for you?
I think that would be putting a cap on it, because you could have 500 people at a pack-up ball event.
Do you have those
So-
numbers that you and I talked about that day on your capacities? They've got several structures out there. They've got the Welcome Center, what you all know as the restaurant. Then they've got, some covered areas.
What
in the
number
back.
are you thinking?
Just in the reception hall.
I mean, you had a wedding last
Just in the
weekend for
reception hall,
250.
yeah, just in the reception hall, the standing room, it would qualify for 1,000 people,
Okay.
so.
It's huge. I mean, it's a big building.
So we have parking for all that?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you got 55 acres.
55 acres, plenty of parking?
Yeah, I think you could put 1,000 people out there and it not seem crowded. That's just my
Right.
opinion,
Okay.
but I mean,
And
it's,
most of that's well off the road.
and you can't see it from the road. I mean, some of these structures are back so far that you wouldn't know the cars and the people were back there. So I think after talking with her about her seating capacities and things, that's not a huge number for what they've got out there.
And the road's been improved in the past 15 years.
Yeah, since Lowell started.
That
Okay.
was a major undertaking.
So you would be pleased with 1,000?
That would be a wonderful start.
Okay.
And is inside this, Bert, is that what it says on the inside, 1,000 people standing room capacity?
Well, I mean, however you want to word it, that's up to you. But if you just want to give, if you want to give her that number.
If she's got it on the
as her-
inside,
as-
inside the building
As her
somewhere,
max as part of the
we
permit, that's
yeah.
within your scope of what you do there.
I'm fine with that. It's just document load of the building so they can handle more than that probably, but
Yeah.
as long as we've got parking.
They can. And
all
I'm
that kind of stuff is fine.
probably not going to be out there counting heads unless I get a complaint on it or it becomes a problem.
Right.
So.
And there are 4 different venues, so even if the reception hall is full, we still have the restaurant that holds like 300 people as well.
That's right.
That's it.
So,
These are just general numbers, I mean, to kind of keep a
That's right.
scope.
Yeah,
Scope.
keep it from blowing.
And
From-
if
from
you
getting
see,
completely
you know,
out of
that's
hand.
the beauty of this, if you see this thing's taken off and you're being successful and you need to come back to this board to ask to adjust that permit, we can do that.
I appreciate that very much. We hope to be a success.
All right, any of the board members have any further questions, comments? Do you have anything you want to add? Any further information?
No, he's already scratched
Ms.
skeet
Reed, do you have any
shooting.
further?
Skeet shooting, that's killed me.
I will say there was a winery, Elk Creek Winery. We got that idea from Elk Creek Winery. They have a huge skeet shooting there on their facility at their winery, so.
It's fun.
Not if that would come to fruition, my
I'm
husband would
professional
love
at
it.
Are you?
I did that 2 weeks ago, the first time I'd done it since I was a teenager, and I thought I had a great time. It was a tremendous fun. Any of these other things that that you just particularly would like included? This is basically, I think, where they're thinking, any of these single things that you just think we just got to have there.
I'll read
Now,
that's what you want.
recognize we'll come back.
That's what I was thinking.
But I'm gonna send it to tell her before we read it, we're striking out.
If they take all those 5 items and they put the 1,000 people limit to it, would that not include all that?
That's what I would do.
Well, that's what I'm asking her. Is there anything in these?
I think
Event
if they take this and put your,
and stuff
you
on
take his suggestion and put your hours of operation restriction and your head count restriction on, I think that you all can probably live with most of this. With the understanding, if they want to put a RV park down there, there's many more permits and processes that they'd have to go through, so, if that's the way y'all wanted to.
That's a total difference.
I just wanna make sure that we're to the understanding that this conditional use permit does not include those things on that list.
Does not,
Not everything on the list.
Well, all I'm suggesting is you just take your pen and mark through
That's what we sort of
what
did,
you-
so.
But I want us to read those things off. If they're on that list, I don't want them to all be implied that they're.
well, then maybe in the form of your motion, you should come up with your own list or identify what numbers on this list. We'll make this a part of the record.
We'll come up with our own list. He'll read the list.
Okay.
So, and what we're clarifying here is we're okay, like we're talking about with 2A, 1 through 5. What we're gonna strike out, the festivals on the ground, we're gonna limit that to 1,000, okay? That's gonna be a restriction on it. The number 5, the music and other entertainments, we're gonna limit that to 1,000. We're striking out completely no skeet shoot, that's number 8. And we're gonna strike out the second 2 in number 12, cabins and RVs, no.
And that's just for clarification purposes. If you choose to do those things in the future and you're very successful, feel free to come back to the board and we'll take another look at that. So
Is
That
that-
would be a zone change, that would be a
Right.
lot.
Yeah,
Probably.
Right, so-
is that, is that good?
I mean,
You
is
feel-
that,
I'm
And,
happy.
and we're taking for granted you're approving number one. It's operation as a winery.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
yeah, we're just trying to clarify,
No,
kind of
I
get a motion
understand. No, I
together here
understand.
as to what we're
And
on
I
track
can-
with the same page and everything.
if Marty and Bert want me to, I can make that revision to this tomorrow.
Not to be,
I think once we get in the form of their motion, we can take it back, we've got a form, we can apply that to, and we'll send it to Mark.
not to be difficult, but Bert is specific on things. And here it says 55 acres and we've got 55.6. Is it a plat, is it 55 acres or is it the 55.6?
I've given you the legal description from the deed. In fact, I think what I attached to the conditional use permit was the deed.
Okay, cause, alright, let's look at the deed.
We-
Says-
55.6 according to the deed.
Okay, so we're
There-
going with 55.6.
There is one thing would like to ask you to consider. There's an existing farmhouse on the property under number 11. The idea is that farmhouse would be used for wedding type functions, for overnight stays relating to weddings. We would like that
I'm thinking that's.
approved, and
I don't have a problem.
that's a residential use, so that'd be the least objectionable, to about anything you could think of, I think.
I'm trying to give us a go.
Yeah, okay. I'll-
Go ahead.
We're gonna make it a go?
Yeah.
All right,
Unless
I'll,
somebody
if
else
there's no
wants-
further questions, anybody want to speak for or against? If not, I'll open the floor for a motion.
I move to approve the application of Chenault Vineyard LLC for conditional use permit on the 55.6 acre tract of land. It leases from Big Valley Land Company LLC on Barnes Mill Road in Madison County, Kentucky. For the uses described of this conditional permit are: 1, winery. A, grow grapes, bottle wine, serve and schedule tastings. B, may include full-service restaurant to serve both food, wine, and other alcohol, beer, or alternative events may be catered. C, to include live music. Number 2, in conjunction with promotion of small farm winery, A, rent event space which likely include catered food, wine, and alcohol for: 1 is weddings and receptions, 2 is with birthdays, 3 is holidays, 4 is political events, 5 is other public gatherings. These will have an hours of operation from 6 a.m. to midnight. Number 3, festivals on the grounds will be limited to 1,000 people. Number 4, farmers market. Number 5, music and other entertainment events limited to 1,000 people. Number 6, walking trails. Number 7, bike rides. Number 9, kayaking. Number 10, kite flying. Number 11, rent out farmhouse for weekend getaway, birthday parties, birthday guests coming into town, bridal parties, sorry. Number 12, camping utilizing tents.
You see, we'll strike that.
Well, that's tents.
Just strike cabins and RVs.
We're gonna strike out cabins and RVs. Number 13, fly fishing.
All right, that was good. Do I hear a second?
I second the motion.
Call the roll, please.
Howard Ballard.
Yes.
Ralph Holler.
Yes.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yes.
George Dixon.
Yes.
Good.
Congratulations.
Thank you all very much.
When are you opening up?
Yeah.
Third week of
Excellent.
October.
You get 6 weeks to go, we'll.
Yes.
We'll be soon.
We're gonna have a little time before we have to close down for the winter.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Marty.
Thank you all.
Herb, thank you very much.
You want to adjourn this, adjourn this.
No further business, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Meeting adjourned.
Adjourned.
All right, well, that
job, Ralph.
6:15. Look at you.
Yeah.
Huh?
Good job.
Thanks, sir.
Hey, look here, he turns that off.